Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video it is time for the big damage stuff, the super boss against the Straw Hat Pirates for the 5+ of X-Drake. And we're going to start it off with the strength variation against Zoro and Sanji with the Blackbeard and Kaido combination. Now, I did put this video out in my prep video, and this is what I thought would do substantial damage. I was using Burgess as a friend captain, and then I had Kaido on my team, because at the time I didn't have Burgess, but lo and behold, I actually pulled Burgess, and we're using him on the team. If you guys have the Toby Ropo unit, I would highly recommend using the Toby Ropo on the team over Queen, or you could use something like the free-to-play Alba, but look, either of those are going to work very, very nicely for this particular team. Now, if you guys have Kaido at level 5, bring your own Kaido. If you have Blackbeard at level 5 Super Tandem, bring your own Blackbeard. Otherwise, you can just interchange the captains, and with the 2 units, you can bring the 2 Blackbeard Pirates and the 2 Beast Pirates to trigger both the Rush and the Super Tandem for Blackbeard, and it works out very, very nicely. On stage 2, Nami is going to have 6 turns of damage reduction. You get Blinded and a full water block orbs. It's perfect for Burgess here because there's also attack down. So use Burgess to remove the attack down, get the full water orbs, you have the damage reduction, so it's 3 turns, and then Q can remove the bind. With the Lafitte support as help, it works out very nicely. And then you can move on to the final stage against Zoro Sanji. Now, they have 1 turn of barriers, which is very, very annoying because if you remove that barrier, they do a whole bunch of nasty stuff. So you pretty much are shoehorned into bringing Blackbeard. But use the Blackbeard superclass, apply the damage reduction, use his special, so that way you get the increased damage taken and the 3 turns of orb boost, because there is a 2-turn intimidation for orbs and attack boosting, which is very, very annoying. Once you've done the Blackbeard special, you can use the Kaido special. That's going to give you a conditional boost to increase damage taken. You can use Big Mom for a double conditional. Otama will increase that, and then you can use Queen for color affinity. Again, if you have Alba, if you don't have Queen, use Alba. If you don't have Alba, use Queen, and if you have the Toby Ropo unit, I would highly recommend using Toby Ropo. That is probably going to do the most damage for this particular team, with, like I said, with the Toby Ropo on the team. And as you guys see, with the rush of a level 5 Kaido, you are just going to be above 4.6, but as you guys noticed, I actually hit a good or a great with my Queen off the bat. So that way I stay below the 4.6 chain multiplier, because if you go above it, you lose 50% of your attack. However, if you have all of the pieces to this puzzle, which, look, I don't think a lot of people will, because the Toby Ropo Super Tandem is kind of like, why would you max that out? However, some people might have maxed out Blackbeard Super Tandem. So utilizing a Blackbeard Super Tandem and a friend captain Burgess now, and then Kaido on the team. Now, using Kaido on the team is a little bit safer because you don't have to worry about 1 orbs. With these runs, I'm actually using Kaido as my captain once again. But with these runs, you have orb RNG, and if you get very, very unlucky, you can roll 2 Wano orbs, which can absolutely just cuck your entire run, which is very, very annoying. However, this particular team does, I believe, would do the most amount of damage. If you have a maxed out Burgess friend captain, if your Kaido is rush level 5, if your Blackbeard is Super Tandem level 5, this team should do the most amount of damage. Again, on stage 2, using Q to remove the blinds, we can use Burgess to remove the attack down, plus because there's damage reduction, we get all of the nice effects from both of those Blackbeard Pirates, and then we can move on to the final stage. Now, if you guys don't have Burgess, but you have Blackbeard, you can run it the way I'm running it. However, if you don't have Blackbeard and you have Burgess, you can flip these characters around. It's very interchangeable with this team. Kaido's another option that you can sort of chop and change and move around. Hell, you can even use Big Mom as one of the captains if you really want to. That'll work actually really nice because you get a driven powerhouse superclass, but like super types are always a little bit nicer. But she's a color affinity booster, so you could also do something with that. But the upside to using with Burgess as a captain is he can actually give you a base stat boost. And that was the thing that we didn't have on the previous team, and that's why this team does a little bit more. However, I did find bringing a rush level 5 Kaido without the base stats actually does a little bit more, provided you hit that good, like you guys saw. Because if you have a level 5 Rush Kaido, you are just going to be above that 4.6 chain threshold to take the 50% attack, which is like, it's such a dumb mechanic, man. But on the final stage, once again, we have the superclass of Blackbeard, the orbs of Blackbeard, the attack of Burgess, double conditionals from Big Mom, Kaido's a conditional, and then Toby Ropo this time, they are going to be our color affinity booster. Now, because Toby Ropo are so boosted, this particular Kizuna, I'm actually using them as my final tapping unit because I can't find any level 5 Burgesses. And even if I did, I would probably still finish with the final tap of Toby Ropo because they give themselves a tandem orb. And unfortunately, the super tandems will clash with this team, which is a bit of a shame. So you kind of have to tap with the Toby Ropo last. Unless your Toby Ropo is level 5 for whatever reason, then I guess you have that particular option. But look, I doubt that a lot of people will have that. But with a level 1 Kaido, you get one less tap. And as you guys will see here, you actually finish the chain at 4.5, which is absolutely hilarious. Right below the threshold, cracking the 200 mil or 200 billion thresh echelons. But like I said, if you guys use Kaido Rush at level 5, you're cracking well over 260 up to 300 billion damage if you are using this team with all of the max pieces of the puzzle. Alright, so moving on to the strength variation now. We're going to start it off with the team that I did put forward initially. And look, this particular team, it's not the best team for it, ironically. When I first built this, I was kind of like convinced that there wasn't going to be a team that could do more. However, as always when Super Boss comes around, lo and behold, as we get a feel for the content, the teams do improve. And obviously, these are just sort of like day one teams. By the end of Super Boss, these teams could be like, wow, these teams did no damage compared to what we originally thought. But this particular team actually did quite a bit. It was around 287 billion damage. Obviously, there's a lot of investment here, and I feel like a lot of people would have invested in these characters rather than stuff like Cross-Skilled and Blackbeard and stuff like that. But even still, like that Blackbeard team you guys just saw took a lot of investment with that Rainbow Blackbeard. But on stage 2 against Frankie, you get Paralysis Orbs here. Now, to get around the Paralysis Orbs with this team, we're using the Super EX of Yamato to give us cooldowns, because there is 2 turns of cooldowns as well. And then we can use Kinemon. Kinemon's not only going to remove those Paralysis Orbs, but he's also going to extend attack and orb boost. Now, on the final stage, there's an Intimidation for color affinity. So, or not attack and orb boost, color affinity and attack boost. On the final stage, there is an Intimidation for color affinity. So we can actually use the Yamato special here and extend that color affinity into the final stage. So that way, we don't have to worry about the Intimidation. However, if you can proc the double Yamato special on the final stage, that's going to give you a little bit more than just carrying that in, and you get another unit on the team, which works really, really nicely. But on the final stage, you get blow away positive effects, which Roger and Odin take care of thanks to their amazing ability. You get Despaired. There's a chopper unit with about a 1 million HP. He puts up defense up, and then, like I said, there is intimidation if you're below... Sorry. You get intimidation for your color affinity boost. Now, big thing to note with this team as well that I totally glossed over is Nami and Robin's special has to be used turn 1. You get that immunity buff from Frankie on stage 2, so make sure that you guys are using Nami and Robin on turn 1. I cannot preface that enough. Like, it's like a must happen. You must... Well, I didn't mean to that turn sideways, sorry. That must happen. Otherwise, you lose a lot of damage. You lose an attack boost, a chain boost, base stat boost. You lose basically all of it, and it's a lot of damage that you guys are going to be missing out on. Like, a lot of damage. If you guys have cross-skilled Limit Break Expanded, I would highly recommend trying to do some stuff with them, get their cooldowns, all that fun stuff. Their double special or triple special activation is actually really, really good with Yamato, because you can actually, like, continuously proc specials off. However, it is a little bit hard to do unless they're your captain. So we're doing stuff with Roger and Odin. We've got the set target from Cross Skill. We've got the color affinity, the increased damage taken, the big attack boost, the big orb boost. We basically have everything that we need except for conditional boost and chain boundary, which is... Look, it is what it is. You can only fit so many buffs on when they throw so many debuffs at you. However, we do have some pretty solid attack and some pretty solid power here. So, starting off the chain with Kinemon for this run, because I got very, very bad tandem orbs. We basically needed a tandem orb for the Super Tandem, but ideally, I would start with Nami and Robin, and that way I would go Nami and Robin into Roger and Odin, and then into Kinemon. But look, I was basically forced into doing it this way. We still did about 285 billion damage, but realistically, it should have been around 300 to 310-ish, which is still pretty nice. But compared to some other teams we put together, it's not the best team, like I said at the start. Now, shout out to, I believe it was Bing Sake over in the Japanese community, and shout out to Papi for bringing the team to my attention. He put out an interesting team build that looked a little bit like this. However, he was using Cross-Skilled as his captain with a friend captain Yamato. So, I tweaked the team a little bit with supports and stuff like that, but typically the team looks pretty much the same in terms of the core unit. So, I just flipped the captains, moved some supports, tweaked a little bit of damage, and here we are. So shout out to him. I'll leave his Twitter in the description below. Make sure to go check out the Japanese community. We do love our Japanese community, so make sure to go show them some love. So we are using a level 4 cross guild for this particular team, so pretty high investments with the rush. As you guys saw there, we did use the Nami and Robin special on turn 1. And then we have the Mism support on Zoro and Sanji. With the Mism support, we can get damage reduction, which is very important for this stage. Once we've done that, we can super swap Yamato into her dual form and then use the Alvida Buggy Pirates to actually remove the paralysis and the paralysis orbs. With that, our Yamato actually gets 2 turns of cooldown because they are a striker, and then you can actually use her special to kill on this particular stage. So it works very, very nicely. You can save the Zoro Sanji super swap for the final stage now. I believe he was using the Smoker support, so it's a little bit less damage there, but doing it this way, you actually save the Zoro Sanji super swap, so you get a bigger attack boost on the final stage. Now, on the final stage, you do lose all your positive effects, but that's okay. We're not bringing any in. You get despaired, so then your cross guild actually get cooldowns, and so does your Yamato, because you want to use your Yamato once again on this final stage. With this particular team, you do need to be careful of how you do stuff, though, so be careful when you are using your swaps and your specials and stuff like that. Ideally, you do want to swap with Sop first, so that way you can get the matching orbs adjacent and the resistance down. However, you really just want to bink all of your cross-guild stuff first. So cross-guild will be ready to go. They can apply the set target. You can use their EX. You can use it again. Kill Chopper. They get their cooldowns back. This is with a Limit Break expanded cross-guild, so you are getting all of that fun stuff back. And then you can do that. Now, ideally, I actually did this wrong. You want to super swap with Zoro Sanji there. Use the Zoro Sanji special. Turn Sop into a slasher. And then use their special. When everyone's a slasher, you're going into the final tap of Yamato. It's just more damage, and look, it's Super Boss. That's what we're here for. So, having that unit become a slasher unit is just an extra 10% damage, which in the scheme of things, could be like 30 billion damage. So, like, it's a lot of damage, you know? After that, just use your EXs. That way, you're just sort of finishing off all of your specials. It should look a little bit like this, and then you can start it off with the Rush of Cross Guild. Using the Rush of Cross Guild is kind of like Roger and Odin. It's not as strong, but it is still pretty good. If you have a level 5 Zoro Sanji, you can tap with the Buggy Pirates after Nami and Robin, but if you don't, you just have to just swap your taps around. And with that, we hit for around 145 billion damage. And you're probably thinking, Stump, you told me that this team does more than the last one. The last one that you just showed us did 285 and you stuffed up. Well, if you get a 1.1 times boost, things can look a little bit different, and this is very strange with this particular super boss because the fluctuation of damage is actually crazy. With HP thresholds now, and rushes, and level 12 ships, and all that fun stuff, every, like, stat point means so much in today's day and age. And with a 1.1 times booster, you're probably just thinking, well, Stump, if you did 148 billion damage, you're probably only going to gain an extra 10%, which would be around 14.8 billion. So that way you're looking at, I don't know, just over 150 billion damage. Well, as mentioned, with HP stats and the 1.1 increasing everything here, it actually multitudes your damage and makes units hit so much harder than what it perceives to be on paper with just doing and crunching a bunch of numbers. Because you get extra HP, you end up doing more rush taps, and the rush taps do more, and literally with the exact same team, just with a 1.1 multiplier, and obviously with me doing the correct Sop thing that I told you guys about, now I end up doing over 300 billion. It was very, very strange why this was happening. I was trying to figure it out for the longest time. Eventually, I just got to the point where I was using way too many Super Boss tokens, and I just said, screw this, I'm over it. I'm just coming to the conclusion that the 1.1 just means a little bit more than what it actually is on paper. And then as you guys can see here, once we get to this final tap from Yamato, we end up doing a whopping 374 billion damage. So a lot more than what a 1.1 multiplier on top of the number you guys just saw. But that's going to wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you go in there, beat the like button for me, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.